A very good day. My name is Shalin Sinapan, and today I'll be presenting regarding endangered species. For the subject, Treaties and Conventions of International Environmental Law. What is an endangered species? Endangered species are species of plants or animals that are at risk of extinction or are facing a high risk of becoming extinct in the near future. These species are considered to be in danger of disappearing from the earth if immediate conservation measures are not taken. This brings us to the topic of today, which is international agreements and conventions to protect the species and habitats, including trade in and sustainable use of endangered species. Firstly, we have the Convention on Biological Diversity, also known as the CBD. The CBD is a global treaty that aims to promote biodiversity, conservation, and sustainable use. The convention recognizes the importance of biodiversity for sustainable development and sets out principles and guidelines for its conservation and sustainable use. The CBD also provides a framework for the regulation of trade in endangered species through the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, also known as CITES. A case study that reflects greatly upon the CBD is the case study about the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. The Great Barrier Reef is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most iconic and biodiverse marine ecosystems in the world. The CBD played a significant role in the conservation and sustainable use of this reef. Australia, as a signatory to the CBD, implemented measures to protect the reef, such as establishing marine protected areas, implementing sustainable fishing practices, and addressing pollution and climate change impacts. The CBD's principles and guidelines guided the conservation efforts, contributing to the long term protection and management of the Great Barrier Reef. Next, we have the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna, also known as CITES. CITES is legally binding agreement that regulates the international trade in certain species of wild animals and plants. The convention aims to ensure that international trade does not threaten the survival of species in the wild while also allowing for the sustainable use of these species. CITES provides a framework for the monitoring and control of the trade in endangered species through the use of permits and quotas. A case study that reflects greatly upon CITES is the African Elephant Conservatory and Ivory Trade. CITES has been instrumental in addressing the trade and poaching threat to African elephants. The convention placed a ban on international ivory trade in 1989 due to the significant decline in elephant populations. This trade restriction led to a decrease in demand and a subsequent decline in illegal poaching. Countries with significant elephant populations, such as Kenya, implemented strict anti poaching measures and collaborated with international partners to enforce the ban effectively. CITES help protect African elephants by regulating and monitoring international trade in ivory. Following that, we have the Convention on Migratory Species, also known as the CMS. The CMS is a global treaty that aims to conserve migratory species and their habitats. The convention recognizes the importance of migratory species for their functioning of ecosystems and sets out guidelines and measures for their conservation. The CMS provides a framework for the conservation and management of migratory species, including through the development of international conservation agreements. A case study that is related to the CMS is the conservation of whales, Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary. The CMS has been involved in the conservation of migratory species, including whales. One notable case is the establishment of the Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary. The sanctuary was created in 1994 under the auspices of the CMS, providing a protected area for migratory whale species, particularly in the Southern Ocean. The sanctuary aims to protect the feeding and breeding grounds of various whale species and promote their long-term survival. The CMS facilitated international cooperation and agreements among countries to protect and conserve these migratory species. Lastly, we have the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. The Ramsar Convention is an international treaty that aims to conserve wetlands and their biodiversity. The convention recognizes the importance of wetlands for the functioning of ecosystems and sets out guidelines and measures for their conservation. The Ramsar Convention provides a framework for the conservation and management of wetlands, including through the development of international conservation agreements. A case study that involves the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands is in Donana National Park, Spain. The Donana National Park is a wetland of international importance and a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in southwestern Spain. The Ramsar Convention played a crucial role in the conservation of this unique ecosystem. The park faced various threats including water scarcity, pollution, and habitat degradation. Through the Ramsar Convention, Spain implemented measures to restore and protect the wetland, such as regulating water use, managing invasive species, and promoting sustainable tourism practices. The Convention's framework facilitated international cooperation and knowledge sharing, which led to the successful conservation and management of the Donana National Park. That is all I have to present about the endangered species. I hope you enjoyed this little sharing. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.